I used to think my dad was just a quiet, lonely man doing his best after Mum passed. But the day he brought a stranger into our home, said he was helping out an old friend, everything changed. I noticed little things. The way they looked at each other, the whispers, the silence when I walked in the room. I thought I was going crazy until I found the letter that shattered our entire family. It started 2 weeks after my 28th birthday. Dad came home from his night shift at the plant with a guy I'd never seen before. White dude, maybe mid-30s, scruffy beard, beat-up denim, jacket, looked like he hadn't eaten in days. I was half asleep on the couch when they walked in. "Hey, Matty," Dad said, like nothing was weird. "This is Kyle. He's gonna stay with us a bit, needs a place to get back on his feet." I sat up, confused. My dad's never been the take in a stranger type. He barely trusts our neighbours, but there he was, opening the guest room and tossing Kyle a clean towel like it was normal. Kyle didn't talk much, just nodded, muttered a quiet thanks, and disappeared into the room. Later that night, I asked Dad, "Where do you know him from?" He looked down at his coffee mug. "Old friend, long time ago," that's all he said. But something about the way he said it didn't sit right with me. The first few days with Kyle were off. He wasn't rude or anything, just quiet, real quiet, like he was always thinking about something he couldn't say out loud. He'd sit at the kitchen table with this faraway look, staring into his coffee like it held answers. Every time I tried to make small talk, he'd keep it short, polite, but closed off. "Where you from?" "Out west." "You got family?" "Nah, it's just been me a while." "Okay." Weird, but not enough to start drama over. Still, I started watching him more closely. One night, I caught him staring at the old family photos on the living room wall, the ones with my mum in them. He stood there for a long time, just looking at her picture, like he knew her, like he missed her. When I stepped into the room, he flinched, said he was just stretching his legs. That's when it hit me. I never told him that was my mum in the photo. He shouldn't have known that. I asked Dad again, "How do you really know Kyle?" He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Drop it, Matty. Not everything's your business." Now I knew something was wrong. About a week in, things really started to feel off. It was around 2 a.m. when I heard voices, quiet, tense, coming from the kitchen. I crept down the hallway in my socks, careful not to step on the squeaky floorboard near the bathroom. Old habit. I stopped just before the kitchen doorway. Dad and Kyle were standing close, talking in low tones. I couldn't make out everything, but I caught bits. He doesn't know. We agreed not to tell him. It's not the right time. Then silence. I must have stepped too loud, 'cause Kyle looked up fast, eyes locked on mine. Dad didn't say a word. He just walked past me like I wasn't even there, headed to bed. Kyle stayed behind, stared at me for a second, then gave this tiny, sad smile, like he felt bad for me. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked. I nodded slowly. "Heard voices. Just catching up," he said. "We've been through a lot." I didn't reply, just stood there, heart racing, mind spinning. We. Who the hell was we? Whatever they were hiding, it wasn't just about helping a friend. I couldn't shake the feeling something huge was being kept from me, and the more they tried to act normal, the worse it felt. I knew I had to figure it out on my own. So the next morning, while Dad was at work and Kyle had gone for one of his long walks, I did something I hadn't done in years. I went up to the attic. Dad always kept old papers, photos, and Mum's stuff in this dusty chest from when I was a kid. I figured if there were any clues, they'd be in there. At the bottom, under old Christmas cards and one of my baby blankets, I found a yellowed envelope marked in Dad's handwriting. "For Matthew, if anything happens to me." My heart dropped. I opened it. Inside was a letter, a short one. It read, "Matty, if you're reading this, I'm sorry you had to find out like this. Kyle is more than an old friend. He's your half-brother. I met his mum years before I met yours. I only found out about him after your mother passed. I didn't know how to tell you. Forgive me. I just sat there, letter in hand, breathing hard. Half-brother? Kyle? And Dad hid this from me? I waited till dinner. My hands were shaking the whole time, but I kept my face straight. Kyle sat across from me, pushing mashed potatoes around his plate like he wasn't hungry. Dad was quiet too, more than usual. Halfway through the meal, I couldn't take it anymore. I pulled the letter from my hoodie pocket and slid it across the table. Dad looked at it, didn't open it, just stared like it was a ticking bomb. You were going to wait till you died to tell me? I asked, voice low but tight. Kyle dropped his fork. Dad didn't say a word for a long time. Then he finally spoke, slow and soft. I didn't want to break what we had left, Matty. After your mum died, I couldn't take the thought of you feeling like it wasn't enough, like our family was fake. Fake, I snapped. You lied, for years. Kyle stood up, eyes red. He didn't know about me until 3 years ago. My mum left a letter when she passed, said my real dad's name was Tom, said he had a son. I didn't come here to take anything from you. Dad looked at me, almost begging. I just wanted to fix something I broke a long time ago. I got up, left my plate untouched. I couldn't look at either of them. The house got real quiet after that night. Nobody yelled, nobody fought, but the silence was louder than anything. I avoided the kitchen when Kyle was in it, gave Dad the cold shoulder. I didn't know how to feel. Hurt, betrayed, jealous. I didn't even know Kyle existed, and now he was my brother. I couldn't sleep, just laid in bed staring at the ceiling fans spinning slow. Next few days, I started remembering stuff, little things. Dad always changing the subject when I asked about his past. Him getting weird when I asked why we didn't have more extended family. The way he looked at that old photo of Mom and him, like he was carrying something heavy, and Kyle, he started fixing things around the house, quietly, like he was trying to earn his place. He replaced the broken porch light, fixed the leaky sink, even cleaned out the garage, something I'd been putting off for months. One night, I walked past the living room and saw Kyle sitting alone, looking at the same photo of Mom again. He whispered, "She looks kind." He didn't know I was there. That was the first time I didn't feel angry, just sad. Because maybe he wasn't stealing my family. Maybe he was just trying to find his. A week passed. I finally sat on the porch, one evening. Same spot Dad used to sit with me after baseball games when I was a kid. I don't know why I sat there. Maybe to feel something familiar. Maybe just to think. Kyle came out, holding 2 beers. He handed me one without saying anything. We sat in silence, watching the sun sink behind the trees. Then he spoke. "I didn't come here to mess things up. I just wanted to meet him. Meet you. I didn't even know if I'd stay." I looked at him. "You should have told me sooner." He nodded. "Yeah, but I figured you'd hate me." I didn't respond right away. I thought about all the stuff I had that he never got. A dad, a home, memories. And suddenly I wasn't sure if I should be angry or grateful. "You got Mum's eyes," I said finally. Kyle looked shocked. His eyes watered a little. "Yeah?" I nodded. "She would have probably liked you." He smiled. "I hope so." It wasn't a perfect moment. No big hug, no music swelling in the background. But it was real, and maybe that's all we had left to build something on. Dad called us both to the table the next night. He had that same folded letter in his hand. The one I'd found in the attic. This time, he placed it between us. "I should have told you both a long time ago," he said. "I was scared. That's no excuse, but it's the truth." Kyle looked down. I stayed quiet. "I failed both of you in different ways," Dad continued. "Matty, I raised you on my own after your mum passed, but I should have trusted you to handle the truth. And Kyle, I should have been there from the start. I miss so much. We didn't say anything. The silence hung heavy, but it didn't feel bitter anymore. Kyle reached for the letter and slid it back to Dad. "We're here now," he said. I nodded. "And I'm not going anywhere." That night, we sat together, the three of us, eating Dad's overcooked spaghetti and laughing at his horrible jokes. For the first time in a long time, the house didn't feel heavy. It felt full, not perfect, but honest, and maybe that was enough.